can still get calcium from fortified non-dairy beverages. A cup of fortified soy milk has 30% of your recommended daily intake. What's more, it has 7 grams of protein, and it's made of non-dairy milk, okay? And that's most nutritionally similar to cow's milk. One type of nut and seed-based milk may be fortified with even higher levels. However, fortification is not just for non-dairy milks. Orange juice can also be fortified, providing as much as 50% of the recommended daily intake per cup of orange juice. Isn't that something? That's wonderful. And so edamame are young soybeans often sold while still encased in the pod. And so we're talking about edamame and tofu. 1 cup, 155 grams of edamame pack, 10% of the recommended daily intake for your calcium. It also contains a good source of protein and delivers all your daily folate in a single serving. Something to think about. Tofu that's been prepared with calcium also has exceptionally high amounts. You can get 86% of the recommended daily intake for calcium in just a half a cup of tofu. Phew, whey protein. Now, this is something that I incorporate in my diet every morning because I like to use whey proteins for my shakes. Whey protein is found in milk and has been extensively studied for its health benefits. It's an excellent protein source and full of quickly digested amino acids. Several studies have linked whey-rich diet to weight loss and improved sugar control. Whey is also exceptionally rich in calcium. A 1 ounce, 28-gram scoop of whey protein powder isolate contains 200 milligrams or 20% of the recommended daily intake. Wow. And so that's something for us to think about, how we keep our bones healthy. How do we keep our joints healthy? How do we keep our musculoskeletal system healthy? By making sure you have your daily intake. And I'm breaking it down, so write it down. Dark leafy greens are incredibly healthy, and some of them are high in calcium. Greens that have good amounts of this mineral include collard greens, spinach, and kale. And I love me some collard greens cooked slowly. For instance, 1 cup, 190 grams of cooked collard greens has 226 milligrams, a quarter of the amount that you need in a day. And so when we sit down to a plate of greens, you're probably going to eat 3 cups at one time. So think about that. Note that some varieties are high in oxalates, which are naturally occurring compounds that bind to calcium, making some of it unavailable to your body. Spinach is one of them. So although it has a lot of calcium, it's less available than the calcium in low oxalate greens such as kale and collard greens. And so here's something else I want you to talk about. I don't think that a lot of people know about this. Amaranth is a highly nutritious pseudo cereal. It's a good source of folate and very high in certain minerals, including manganese, magnesium, phosphorus, and iron. 1 cup contains 246 grams of cooked amaranth grain, delivers 116 milligrams of calcium, or 12% of the recommended daily intake. Amaranth leaves contain even more, 28% of the recommended daily intake per cooked cup, 132 grams. The leaves are extremely high in vitamin A and C. That's something for you guys to really think about, especially if you're having problems with osteoporosis and things of that nature, or skeletal deficiencies. That's something for you to think about. If you're having problems ambulating, walking, arthritis, think about strengthening your calcium intake. Think about that. Rhubarb has a lot of fiber, vitamin K, calcium, and smaller amounts of other vitamins and minerals. It contains prebiotic fibers, which can promote healthy bacteria in your gut. And you want to have a healthy gut. That's really important. Like spinach, rhubarb is high in oxalates, so much of the calcium is not absorbed. In fact, one study found that your body can only absorb about a quarter of the calcium in rhubarb. On the other hand, the calcium number for rhubarb are quite high. So even if you're only absorbing 25%, you still get 87 milligrams per cup, which is 240 grams of cooked rhubarb. Fortified foods. Another way to obtain calcium is from fortified foods. Some type of cereals can deliver up to 1,000 milligrams, 100% of the recommended daily intake per serving, and this is about adding, and that is before adding milk. This is before you even add your milk. However, keep in mind that your body can't absorb all that calcium at once. It's best to spread your intake throughout the day. Flour and cornmeal may also be fortified with calcium. Therefore, some breads, tortillas, and crackers contain high amounts of calcium. Now, we look at, I hope everybody got a chance to like really take that in and like really think about strengthening your bones and your joints. Because the next system that we're going to move to is the digestive system. The oral cavity, the esophagus, the liver, the stomach, the small intestines, the large intestines, the rectum, and the anus. We're going to be looking at those. Beginning with our mouth, because you know how they say your health is in your mouth. So beginning with our mouth, this system is responsible for breaking down and the absorption of nutrients and the elimination of waste not utilized by the body. It's responsible for identifying which minerals, vitamins, and other essentials from the foods we eat can be absorbed or utilized or stored by the body, which are to be disposed or of carrying out those functions. Now listen to this. I want people to really listen to this. You need to practice chewing your food to get the most out of it. Chew your food for 20 seconds. Every time you eat something. I know it sounds crazy, but try to chew it for 20 or count to 20 or just take your time, because when you eat your food too fast, it's harder for your body to process the food, and you don't get all of the nutrients from the food, okay? And on top of that, you will eat and eat and eat. And when you take your time, you slowly fill up. And so you really want to like your body to take its time to absorb the food, because when you eat fast, you eat more food. But when you take your time, your brain has time to process that you're eating this food, and your digestive system has time to process it's getting full. So when you eat and eat and you eat real fast, you're eating more than you should eat, and you can't process that. So let's take a break. Let's give our digestive tracts a break and take care of it. Okay, so let's get back to that digestive tract. Diseases and disorders of the digestive system includes diverticulitis, which is so painful, gastritis, pancreatitis, cholecystitis, cirrhosis, hepatitis, liver cancer, irritable bowel or colon syndrome, Crohn's disease, and hemorrhoids. That can be very painful. There are 5 food groups following science which have been proven to help with digestive systems. If you have bad cases of diverticulitis, because what happens, and the reason why I explain that to you is because sometimes you eat so fast that your body can't process the foods, and then you're straining to use the bathroom. You're straining to do number 2, and then you start to set up diverticulitis in the colon, and then the colon becomes inflamed, you become inflamed, and it can get so bad that food can't pass through anymore, and you start throwing up all your food, and then you become weak, you lose weight, you're not getting any more nutrients, you can hardly eat, and next thing you know, they have to start cutting out part of your colon. So I'm saying that to you so that it's 100% true. And I'm saying that to you so that you can take care of your digestive tract and put in foods that your body needs. There are 5 food groups following the science, again, that have been proven to help with the digestive system. Digestive problems such as gas, constipation, diarrhea affect millions, with 15% of people in Western countries experiencing a severe form of gut sensitivity called irritable bowel syndrome. So let's look at some foods that may help us. Whole grains, white or brown rice, whole wheat or white bread for digestive health. Choose these whole grains. Optimal colon functions required at least 25 grams of fiber daily, compared to refined carbohydrates like white bread, pasta. Whole grain provide lots of fiber as well as added nutrients such as omega-3 fatty acids. When gut bacteria ferment fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids. These molecules encourage proper function to the cell linings in the colon, where 70% of our immune cells live. And that's the reason why I was talking to you about the diverticulitis, because you have to take care of your digestive tract. You just have to, because you have cells that are in the lining of the colon. And that's 70% of our immune cells live there. So guess what happens? If the colon is sick, you're really sick, okay? and your health is going to deteriorate, and it's going to deteriorate rapidly right before people's eyes. So I hope this is sinking in. Okay, so let's go look back. Despite the popularity of low carbs diet for weight loss, you want to avoid grains altogether that may not be so great for good gut bacteria that thrive on fiber. So let's look at something that we know will help you. Leafy greens. Leafy greens such as spinach or kale are excellent sources of fiber, as well as nutrients like folate, vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin A. Research shows that leafy greens also contain a specific type of sugar that helps fuel growth of healthy gut bacteria. So when you take your time and you eating your greens, like, try to chew it 20 times, I guarantee you'll taste the sweetness of the greens. And so you know that your body's going to, you're putting something super healthy because you're getting the sweetness of the greens. And so a lot of times you need to be able to chew your food so that your body can actually extract all of the micronutrients and things like that you need. Eating a lot of fiber and leafy greens allow you to develop an ideal gut microbiome. The gut microbiome refers to all microbes in your intestines, which act as another organ that's crucial for your health. Okay? And this is something we need you to understand about that gut health. You have to understand. Lean protein. I'm just going all in today because I've been gone from you all, and I want to give you food for thought. And at the same time, I guess that's my doorbell telling me that we've got probably deliveries, all kind of stuff going on. But at the same time, I just want to pour into you today. I've been gone from you. This actual segment is dedicated to my sister, which I lost here recently to COVID. And I know she would want me to really be with you all today in the best way. And I am trying so hard. So let's talk about lean protein. Let's get back to that gut health. People with irritable bowel syndrome should stick with lean protein and avoid foods that are rich in fat, including fried foods. High fat foods can trigger contractions of the colon. Fat content such as red meat is just one reason to avoid red meat. I don't eat red meat. I just don't do it. There's nothing wrong with my colon, but I want to take care of it. Red meat also promotes colon bacteria that produces chemicals associated with an increased risk of clogging the arteries. Do you know when you eat a steak, it might take 7 weeks for that steak to really get all the way out of your body? A lot of people don't know that. And it's a lot more that goes to that. You should research it. So just really research that. And there are reasons why I don't eat red meat, but I just don't eat it. And so let's look at something else that can help the gut. Low fructose fruits. If you're somebody who's prone to gas, bloating, you may need to reduce your consumption of fructose or fruit sugar, say. And so pointing out the foods like apples, pears, and mangoes are all high in fructose. Berries, citrus fruits such as oranges, grapefruits contain less fructose, making them easy to tolerate and less likely to cause gas. Bananas are also low in fructose. They're fruits that are fiber-rich and contain inulin, a substance that stimulates the growth of good bacteria in the gut. So make sure you get your bananas in. Don't forget. Another one is avocados. Avocado is a superfood packed with fiber and essential nutrients such as potassium, which helps also to promote healthy digestive functions. It also is a low fructose food, so it's less likely to cause gas. Foods like nuts and avocados are really nutrient dense, and they have a lot of fat, so you have to eat them in moderation. So you don't eat a whole bunch of it at one time. And one of the systems that I think is so important that people don't talk about a lot is your endocrine system. That system is so important to your body, and it just is. It's very important to your body, of how your body functions. And if it's not functioning well, the type of diseases that you can get: the pineal gland, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, the thymus, adrenal gland, the pancreas, the ovaries, and the testes. That's all part of the endocrine system, okay? The glands of the endocrine system secrete chemicals called hormones that regulate most of the processes in our bodies, such as growth, reproduction, metabolism, and even the control of the amount of glucose in blood. Disease and disorders of the endocrine systems include type 1 and type 2 diabetes, hyperglycemia, Addison's disease, Cushing's syndrome, hyperhidrotism, and hypothyroidism. thyroidism. And I suffered from hyperthyroidism. I suffered from that. And